Welcome to Catching Up with Cathy. And I'm so excited to be here with Lyndsay and Rhoman, the extracted runner-ups. Gosh, we have to talk about what coming in second means. Dallas can't be with us, but he was a little bit of a hard ass during the show. So we don't need to talk about him right now, but we will miss him. We do miss him. I would have liked to also hear what he had to say about things. So we're going to jump right in. Gosh, how did it feel like knowing that you guys were going to be on the show? And what was that like? Lyndsay, why don't you get us started and tell us how you applied?
Okay. Yeah, I applied as about this time last year. I had just watched season one and I absolutely loved it. I was obsessed with it. And I was like, when it flashed across the screen, you could be in season two. I was like, why not? Why not me?
Yeah.
So I applied, and like I said, I wanted to be the survivalist. I didn't really know who my HQ people would be. Um, but I had applied with Roman and his little sister, but she was too young. She wasn't quite 18 yet. So
Okay.
Roman was in, and then I started calling my other kids, like, who's going to be able to do this? And Dallas ended up being able to do it as well. So it was us three.
It was us three, and you were going to be the survivalist, right?
Yes, I wanted to be the survivalist. I love survival shows, and I was like, I just want to take my shot at it. My youngest was just graduating. I'm about to be an empty nester, and it's like my next big adventure. So it kind of didn't turn out that way, but the way it turned out was amazing, the way it was supposed to be.
I think it was perfect. Nobody even would have known or thought of that. And, the story and the goal was really for you in Dallas. Like, Dallas was very, very stoic during this time. Like, he was totally throwing stuff out at Roman. Roman, you don't know, like, until you watched it, like what your brother was telling your mom. And, oh my God, your heart is cold. You really need to soften up. Your mom's trying here, and her baby's out there. You lost so much weight. And full disclosure, we were Team Roman the whole way. I would message my kids after every episode because they weren't watching. We weren't on it. We were a little bit, a little jaded, I guess. But Fox wants what Fox gets, and that's totally fine, and we understand. But I would message my daughter, and I'm like, "This guy's gonna go to the end. Can you believe we were across from them? He's gonna go to the end." We're gonna talk about a fatal mistake a little bit later. But what did it feel like for you? Like, well, fatal mistake that I thought you guys made. But we're going to talk, and that's not even about being faked out by Luke and his brother. That comes like, much later on in the show, of course. But coming in second place, like when you kind of heard what was going on, and you knew probably that you were one of the last two finalists, Roman. Like, how did that feel for you?
It was the best feeling ever. Like just to know that we made it to the end on such a big stage. I
Yeah,
think from the beginning, my goal was to be there the entire time, but
yeah.
to have it unfold the way it did and to be and end up on this island, and then that night they tell me that it's just me and RJ. It was just the most unbelievable events that you could imagine, and I was just in shock, and I was like, wow, we really have a shot at this 250K. Like, we can actually do this. Everything that we've gone through, all the dumb stuff, even from the beginning, like me not supposed to be out there, and we were still there. So it was just a surreal moment, probably the happiest that I had ever been while I was out there, just being like, yo, we actually have a shot at winning this. Like, it's a
Yes.
50-50
Yeah.
shot right now. We can do this.
Amazing. I know. It's so serendipitous, the whole thing. It's been about a month that everything kind of has slowed down in the sense of, when the finale was like, has it all sunk in? Are you still kind of replaying the moments in your mind? Tell me a little bit about that.
I haven't gone back to rewatch it. I know me and RJ have talked about it, and he was rewatching. I was like, maybe I need to revisit it, but I think I need a little bit more time before I go back and watch it. But it's been fine. I think I was really nervous about the last episode, just knowing that I was going to let a bunch of people down, knowing that we lost. But it seemed like it doesn't really matter. People say we won the family aspect, and that's true. And yeah,
Oh,
we don't
yeah.
have $250,000, but hey, nobody was out there longer than any of us. Like, we were there the whole time. RJ gets the win, but we were there, got to experience just about everything besides the joy of winning. So when I first left, I was really angry, but just looking back at it now, it was an awesome experience.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think that I don't think there was a dry eye for everyone that was watching it across the country and beyond. It was an emotional moment with seeing all three of you getting together. Obviously, we saw Dallas softening up with mom a little bit. There were some mistakes. Lyndsay, I know you felt as a mom, you guys. Roman wasn't getting certain things. It was a game, it was a competition at the end, right? Like people were taking, and you were like, my son doesn't have this, he doesn't have that. Like we screwed up. What's going on? How does that feel as a mom, like not being able to provide for him on the inside when he's out there every day? Amazing positive attitude though, buddy. Like you were incredible out there, just keeping your whole inside, staying positive, but not cocky. Because we also heard with HQ, like, oh, I'm on top of the world. This is amazing. I'm gonna fish. Look at me eat. And it's like, no, dude, you need to tone it down. And we know who those people were. But Lyndsay, let's go to you. Like, how did you feel as a mom, sort of knowing that your baby was out there?
Oh, that was definitely the hardest part. And I think that's why they wanted to cast me in that role
Mhm,
because they
mhm.
know that it's just a different situation of watching your son suffer than it is for anybody else because I'm his protector.
Yes.
I want to provide for him. That's what I've done for him his entire life. And to watch him suffer and feel helpless is you can't even explain that feeling until you're there. And although I have a lot of confidence in him and what he can suffer through and how strong he is, you reach these breaking points sometimes when you're like, is my son's life worth this?
Hmm.
Is
Hmm.
my son's health worth this money? And I got to those points where I just, at the end, with how bad his health was failing,
Yeah.
that I was like, I don't even think the 250K is worth this anymore.
It's not. You guys created something special and bonded as a family. And, those memories will never be forgotten. And this is something that you can say that you all did together. You all played a strong, strong game for sure. What do you think some of your biggest advantages were during the game? Let's talk to Lyndsay first, because I know being on the inside, there was a lot of strategic stuff you had to do. Like, honestly, to the people that were watching, you guys looked very authentic and not like trying to craft things and screw people over. But that's not what other people were thinking and feeling, because you guys got screwed over, and we'll get to that in a minute. But how do you feel you play the game on the inside?
I think that we did really well, and I know that a lot of people would, question that and say, "Oh, we should have done this or that," but we made it to the end. So obviously we did something right, even with all the gamers in there that came in with so much strategy and so much more experience.
Hmm.
I think the best thing was Dallas and I's dynamic because our personalities are so different that we just balanced each other really well.
Hmm.
And so where he was strong and I was weak, he was weak and I was strong, and we just helped each other out. So um, I would just say HQ is so intense and so much pressure that if you're not a strong person, you will not stay till the end because it is very intense, and the decisions that you have to make in such a short amount of time, and it's things that really affect people, so
Hmm.
it's so intense in there, and I think we
Hmm.
did really well.
You did fantastic. Roman, what about you on the outside? You don't know what's going on. You're by yourself, like day in and day out. You got rain one day, you got wind. You looked pretty cozy in the shelter that you made. You were happy-go-lucky, Mr. Fisherman catching his food out there. I know that Polly's family never liked that. And, Luke's family, everyone's checking you out. And now you're being talked about in HQ. Like they're saying you're a strong competitor. Roman's the one to watch. Like this is the person I've read even on Rotten Tomatoes, like you were the guy, you played the game. The win should have been yours. It wasn't, but you guys played the best game possible. The only thing was that cha-ching, cha-ching. Oh, I wanted you to get that house for your mom so badly. And at the end of the day, you ended up empty. I know it doesn't matter, but what were you thinking when you're out there and you're just like being on your own and you're just really talking to a camera at the end of it?
Yeah, contrary to what people would believe, I was pretty down on myself just about the whole time that I was out there. I was willing to go through anything, but my mom knows I was out there saying the only reason that we're here is because of what they provided for me. Like if they didn't get me the fishing line and the knife and the ferro rod, we would have been out of this.
Hmm.
I didn't win any competitions the whole time. I
Hmm.
lost the raft challenge, then
Hmm.
I lost in the scavenger hunt, then
Hmm.
I lost in the swim challenge, even going to get my either lesser crate or more crate. I got the little potato and the tiny pack of water. Like I never really won anything out there. So
Yeah.
if it wasn't for my mentality, I think we would have been out, but I think that's why people were so scared because it's like if Roman does actually win a challenge, it's going to be over for everybody. He is doing so much with so little out here,
Yeah.
and he doesn't win anything that if he does get stuff, it's going to get even worse. So I think the fishing line really saved me. I think my positive mentality and I think my youth came into effect too. Like
Hmm.
I mean, I wasn't really having any pains. Like my leg was hurting me a little bit while I was out there, but there was no pains and
Yeah,
yeah, just that
you
like
weren't
that
Doug.
youthful
You weren't
energy that
Doug. Let's put it
I
that way.
had.
You were not Doug, and that's okay. Where do you think your mental strength comes from, or who?
Um, a few places, but mainly my mom, mainly the lady right here. She has raised me to be the man that I am today. We didn't have the most advantageous childhood.
Yeah.
But my mom never let us know that it was as bad as it ever was, raising five children as a single mother.
Hmm.
We just always thought we had everything so great,
Hmm.
and I never saw it any other way. So I put that mentality towards everything else in life. Why not have the most positive outlook that I can? It's not worth it to be negative. So I put that energy towards this challenge. I felt like I prepared enough, and um, my preparation was just that I was going to get nothing. So anything that I got was a luxury while I was out there, and it ended up working out.
You certainly didn't take anything for granted. I will say that. And this game was played beautifully. In terms of the fake card, let's talk about that. Luke and his brother kind of deked out Dallas. He thought he was getting the advantage there. And, everyone at home was like, don't take the bait. And you guys were so excited. Do this, do that. You thought you had it all figured out, Lyndsay. What
Yep.
was that like finding out? Because you looked pretty pissed when you found out.
Oh, yeah. That was the biggest shocker of the entire time there. And I always say this, it was because I genuinely trusted Daniel and
Yeah.
David,
Yeah.
and we were in an alliance with them, and they had been helping us with other things. And um, so I did not think that they would do that to us. So I was literally shocked when it happened. Biggest shocker of the show. The only redeeming grace is that we beat them. Like they didn't win, they didn't take Roman's fire. We beat them in the end. We stayed longer, so I'm cool with it now.
Yeah, totally. You outshone them till the very end. What was
Yeah.
the relationship like between you and Michaela and Tanisha in the house? And what was Dallas's take sort of on them as well?
So at first we weren't as close with them at first. We were more aligned with Molly and Bailey and Daniel and David because it's kind of goes with proximity in the room, and we were all kind of near each other.
Hmm.
And then Luke, Roman, and Polly were kind of rated the top three, like the strongest ones, and everybody else was against us. So that's how we kind of started working with them. Now, after everything came out about them going through our desk and things like that, we started to become closer to Tanisha and Michaela because we felt like they were telling us the truth and that we could trust them. So by the end, we were talking with them more and we were more aligned with them. And we were kind of like, okay, RJ and Roman, we want to get these two to the end together. And we started to have a really strong bond with their family.
Hmm. Hmm. We get to a point in the game where I think you guys are first in this particular challenge, and it seems like the advantages and the disadvantages that other players have. They're out there in the wild. We know RJ is having mobility issues. We know Polly is looking very frail and thin, and her stamina is not going to be up there. Luke looked. Pretty solid, as did Roman. We knew all of these kinds of things going in. Why did you guys choose the little island that you gave to Roman and not have chosen the one that RJ got, for example? RJ didn't have to swim anywhere. He didn't have to do anything. He walked around and basically there was his island. He basically got the easiest spot that he could get for someone in his condition. Would you have done that part differently?
Oh yeah, in retrospect, just seeing the island after and how easy accessible it was for RJ, we didn't realize he would just have to walk there. Um, the reason why we ultimately picked the one for Roman was because it had the most resources, and that's the way, they said it during that challenge. And it was obviously the best island that the way they sold it that day in HQ. So
Yeah.
that's why we got it for Roman. It was the biggest island. It had the most resources. So we thought for longevity, Roman would be able to be on that island for a really long time. But then as it ended up, I mean, I think RJ's island was better. Just it wasn't as big, but it did have as many resources, and then
Mhm.
you didn't have to swim there.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, hindsight, I wish we would have been able to go second because the snake draft screwed us over too. Because
Yes.
by the time it got back to the end, we had no supplies.
Yeah, I know. I saw that, and it was just I was surprised that Luke's family, extracted him like ASAP. Again, I read recently, like in hindsight, that was the best decision for them because he had no resources, and it was just a matter of him toughing it out. That was a shocker. He was shocked. We all saw that. I was happy. It was the two of you in the end. Roman, I wanted to give you the win so bad, and I think it just was because we were on the same floor together and I had a little spot in my heart for you. I'm a mom, and your mom was like working so hard for you. And like my daughter would have been, I won't say as like Dallas because she's also a girl, but she would have not extracted where I think I would have extracted a lot sooner. Had I seen my son out there suffering and all of that other stuff. That's what moms do. Having said all of that, do you think that like you said, hindsight's 2020. When you were looking at that map, I'm sure everything is happening so fast and furious in HQ. Like, could you not see that that was like a closer place for Roman to get to, or were you just like, okay, this is the best spot for him with resources and everything else? You weren't thinking about, well, RJ won't have to swim there. He won't have to do this. I guess that doesn't really come into play because you're thinking about your own son, right?
Yeah, well, as far as proximity, Roman's island that he swam to was right across from him.
Right.
So RJ was at a very end of the shore. They were in completely different places. So
Yes.
Roman would have had to hike further to get to that island. And where he was, he just had to swim straight across
Right. Right.
island. So, yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, you're forced with these decisions, and you have like 3 minutes on the clock, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, boom, make that decision, and nobody understands that pressure until you're right there, and you just have to make this split decision. Um, I think if we could have got him water, this would be a completely different scenario. If we could have
Yeah. Yes.
one canteen of water, he
Yes.
would have won. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
Couldn't get that for him. And
Mhm.
the thing is at the end they did not show how stacked RJ was with supplies versus Roman. They left out a complete challenge where like we lost by a 50-50 shot to get more supplies.
Mhm.
There's just so many things that they left out of why we extracted it. At the end, it was because his health was declining, but it also was this battle that I knew we couldn't win. RJ could have lasted weeks out there with the supplies that he had. Roman maybe had days,
Right, right, right. Now let's talk about the clock combination. I know that it showed that it seemed like it took you so long, but I know you unlocked that like quickly, right?
Oh, I got it immediately.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I
did. I
I
love
tried the 61500.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean
And
zero zero
that's
six one
where
five.
that's where you
It
and
didn't
Dallas were
work.
like, oh, you should have put the zeros at the front versus the
Yeah.
back or whatever, however that went down. And I'm like, Dallas, just shut up. Your mom's doing her best right now.
Yeah, I tried it immediately and then I reversed it. It took me like 30 seconds to open it. So that was kind of played up for dramatic effect. I
Yeah,
got that
of
immediately.
course it was. Yeah, of course. As we never know what you're going to see when it actually comes out in the episodes. Absolutely. Um, any regrets during the game? Roman, why don't you go first?
Um, no, I don't have any regrets. I mean, I wish I would have won challenges, but like I did my 100% best. I think I was not given a fair shot to win the game. So, if I told myself at the beginning, I will not go unless I'm second place or I win this thing. Like I can leave happy if I take
Yes,
second, but my
yes,
goal is to win.
yes. Yep,
And I left absolutely nothing on the table. We got messed up in the end, and I don't think that was any of our faults. It's just
yep.
how the game works. Sometimes you
Hmm.
lose on the roll of a die or you lose on the flip of a coin, and it's taken me a while to accept that, but I don't regret anything that happened out there.
Lyndsay, what about you? Was there a move that you would have done differently if now knowing what you know now, was there a move within the game that you would have done differently?
I wish that we would have used our advantage during that snake draft because if we could have froze out Luke's family, then we could have at least got him a canteen of water.
Hmm.
And I think
Hmm.
that would have changed the whole outcome
Yeah.
had he had. My other thing too is that everybody is saying that the lake water was okay. So I wish I would have just said, Roman, go drink the lake water and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let me add to that. I guess she's right. That is my one regret. I wish I had just tried the lake water. Like
We saw
we
that in season one, though. They did try lake water and they were puking their guts out. And I know Michaela was putting stuff in your head. We could sort of see that. She was talking about, it being contaminated and what that's going to do. And you were like, you seemed very concerned that this was not going to happen. And if we were going to get to a point where he was drinking water, you were going to extract. Like, I mean, you're in fitness. You know how important it is to keep your body hydrated and everything. What do you think it would have done if he drank lake water?
Well, I mean, even in HQ, they were saying things over the intercom that the water was full of parasites and bacteria. So they were even trying to play it up to like a mom who's concerned about her son that, he could get a parasite or some bacteria.
Mm.
So, I mean, I don't think it was a long-term solution, but talking to the cast and crew now from Canada, they were all drinking the lake water. Like it was fine. So
Wow.
that is my regret is like, well, damn. Like, just wish you would have drank the lake water and we could have stayed longer because water was the only thing stopping us from staying there. And water is life. That
Yeah.
was
Water is
that,
life. It
he had
was,
gone 3.5 days with no water and like you can die from 3 days of no water.
mhm,
It was
mhm.
getting that serious.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
So,
exactly, exactly. Now, I know that you guys talked to Michaela. I think you guys have all turned into good friends. Do you talk to RJ, Roman?
Yeah, me and RJ keep
Because
up a
you
lot.
you guys are where? What state are you in?
We're in Utah,
You're in Utah and they're in
Texas.
Texas, so Dallas, I think, right? Is it Dallas for them? And I'm in Canada, so that's pretty cool. What did you think of our beautiful well, you were on the East Coast. It's not as pretty as the West Coast where we are. So we're like 3 hours from Seattle. I think you said that Dallas was doing some sales in Seattle. He's back on the job, right?
yes, that's
Yeah.
why he can't be here today. He's a very hard worker.
Yeah, no, they get that from you, Lyndsay. I mean, the mental, the working, the making of money, all of those things. I think you're an amazing role model to all of your children. In addition to that, what's next? What's next for you guys? Do you think you'll try for season three? Are you allowed to try for season three?
If
I,
we
I,
were, I'd get on there, but I think it's going to be all-star season. I think that's what it'll be. As they do with these shows, is what I'm learning. I'm not a reality TV guy, but everybody always says like if there is all-stars, there's no way they can't ask you guys back. And who
exactly.
knows what they switch up? Maybe she'll be the one that goes out this time, and I get thrown in HQ. That would be interesting. I would love that for my mom. But if I have to go back out there, I'm gonna go get my win. I'm gonna make sure that I win this time. So we'll see. I have people in my comment sections telling me to like apply for Survivor, Amazing Race, The Challenge, Big Brother, all these types of shows. So we'll see what the future holds for that.
So I want to know, what did Extracted season two teach you, Roman?
Um, that as a human being, you can push yourself to some extreme lengths. Watching it back, even now, I'm like, damn, you went 3 days without water. You did multiple, 5+ day fasts while you were out there. You slept on the ground for 25 days. Like I have no survival experience and I was out there doing that. So as human beings, if we get thrust into these type of situations, a lot of people always tell me like I couldn't do what you could do, and I just tell them like that's what I said before I went out there, and I did it. So I think a lot of people could do it. So I just think it's a testament to what human beings can do if you put your mind to it.
That's amazing. Lyndsay, what about you? And sort of speak to maybe what it meant to you in Dallas, and hopefully that relationship has the extracted season 2 has gotten you closer, because it did seem that you guys were very, Dallas wanted the money. He wasn't pulling Roman out. It didn't matter. He didn't have to because Roman did the work. And I'm sure you guys as brothers bonded so much better and a lot more. And he was so proud of you when you guys all reunited there. Like I was bawling. I'm like, oh my God, it's so, I was just so happy for you guys. The one thing was that clincher of a win, I tell you. But Lyndsay, sorry, I'm digressing because I'm like a really big fan and I get to interview you guys. I'm so excited. But Lyndsay, what about you? What did Extracted season 2 teach you?
It was great for our relationships. It really did, like I haven't been able to have that much time with Dallas in his life ever. He's my middle child, and he's always kind of got lost in the shuffle, and then he moved away at a young age, and so it was just so nice to be able to bond with him and have that time, and also with Roman to watch him do what he accomplished. I'm just so impressed. And, he put himself on the map and he's got much bigger things after this. So all those relationship things were great. It taught me a lot about myself and how strong I am. And it's such a vulnerable situation to be on TV like that 24/7 and having to make
Mhm.
these crazy decisions.
Yeah.
Um, and then after, even like you're in the public eye and people are very critical of you and you have to be very strong in yourself
Mhm.
and be able to be misunderstood and be like, that's okay. They don't know me. And to really be confident in yourself. That's what I've learned from it.
Mhm. Mhm. You have to have thick skin, that's for sure. I was going to say the criticisms are going to happen. At the end of the day, I think that your entire family, can leave with their heads high. And you guys played a fantastic game. You didn't screw anybody over. You built your alliances. You can sleep at night. You can go home. You guys have that honesty, the loyalty, like all of those things is the epitome of what you stood for in this show. And I'm so grateful that you guys were able to showcase who you were, and it was fantastic to watch. Any last sort of, moments that you want to share at all, just for our viewers?
Hmm. Thanks for watching. And
Did you see any
hopefully we get
bears,
to do this again
Did you see any
because
bears, Roman? Did you come across any bears?
one time when I was hiking back from one of the challenges, it was about 100 yards in front of me, and just rummaging through all the bushes and stuff. It was like on a little hill, and I
Yeah.
had my selfie stick, and I kind of turned it around, and I was like, "Yo, everybody, look over there! There's a bear!" But never at my campsite. I this is my one thing with Olson. Like, if I would have seen a bear day one, I don't know how well I would have done, because it's like that's day one, and that's your really like that's your first day, and you think you're gonna see this every single day. I
Mhm.
always say I don't know how I would have done if I would have seen a bear first day. So I'm glad I didn't. Yeah.
What about you, Lindsay?
I think I just always try to tell people it was very stressful and a lot of pressure, but it was also so much fun. Like the whole experience, I would 100% do again. Such an adventure, the craziest adventure I've ever taken. Um, and like we had so much fun on set, like with the other cast and crew, and me and Dallas had so much fun together, so they showed a lot of tense moments on the show.
Yes.
Overall, it was just an amazing, great experience.
Yes,
Yeah.
that because tense moments sell and more people watch and you're hooking them in more and more. We all know that. I think you guys got a little bit of an insight of what goes on behind the scenes for sure, especially when you are watching it. And I really appreciate you guys being able to be with me today. And I will edit this all up and send it over to you guys, and then I'll share it with all of my followers. We have about 300,000 people in the Tri-Cities where I live. So I'll be doing that in the next week or two. And I really appreciate you guys coming on, catching up with Cathy. And thank you so much for sharing your insights on Extracted season 2. And maybe we'll see you next year, or maybe you'll see us next year. You never know. We're kind of
I hope
hoping.
You
so.
guys get it on someday. I really do.
I know, I know. Anyways, thanks so much, you guys.